The Commonwealth Secretary-General calls on Guyana's president to announce an election date. And in sport, Bermuda crowned Rugby Americans champions. I'm Dawn Paris, and this is Caribbean Intent for Monday, September 23, 2019. I'll be back with the details after the break.
Assembly projects are ongoing, and to ensure they remain both on time and on schedule, THA Chief Secretary Honorable Kelvin Charles led a tour of the projects recently. Also on the tour were Councillor Kwesi Devines, the Secretary of Infrastructure, Quarries and the Environment, and a technical advisor at the Infrastructure Division, Telshon Mac-Wellington. The team's first stop was Thompson River Bridge in Lowlands.
Welcome to a brand new program called A Day in the Life of. This is where we take on different occupations around St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Today we're doing a construction worker with yours truly, Mosiah, right here on the job site as we are at a site where newly constructed house. Okay, so we are using the mixer because this is a small gauge.
Yes, I just want it to wash it.
Okay.
Commonwealth Secretary-General Patricia Scotland has called on Guyana's President David Granger to immediately set a date for elections. A statement issued by the London-based Commonwealth Secretariat today said Scotland urged all stakeholders to restore constitutional rule in the CARICOM country by enabling polls to be held without further delay. The Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, in July validated the no-confidence motion that was passed last December against the coalition government and ordered elections be held. The president said he was awaiting word from the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, on its preparedness for the polls, and he got that last Thursday when the chairman informed him GECOM would be ready by the end of February next year. In her statement, the Dominica-born Commonwealth Secretary-General said she'd taken note of the CCJ ruling and that the court was clear that the Guyana Constitution sets out certain requirements for an election timeline after the valid passing of a no-confidence motion, and that's within 90 days. And she said a general election is therefore now constitutionally overdue and should be held in accordance with the unambiguous constitutional imperative to do so. The statement said Scotland has already spoken with the GECOM chair and discussed Commonwealth support to the elections body. Trinidad and Tobago is cleaning up after Tropical Storm Karen caused widespread flooding and damage as it passed yesterday. Streets and vehicles were left underwater, several houses and businesses were flooded, and some residents had to be evacuated as rising waters inundated their homes. There were reports of landslides that blocked roads and trees and utility poles being felled by Karen's heavy winds. The Twin Island Republic is no longer under storm warning, and government offices opened as usual today while schools remained closed, but residents were still bracing for more bad weather. The TNT Met Office forecast rains would continue into the night. It said gusty winds and street and flash flooding may accompany heavy showers. Tropical Storm Karen is now heading towards Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands with tropical storm force winds and heavy rains. A tropical storm warning is in effect for those islands. At the latest update at 11 a.m., Karen was located about 195 miles south of St. Croix in the USVI and about 255 miles southeast of San Juan, Puerto Rico, and moving towards the north-northwest at 12 miles per hour. It's forecast to pass near or over Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands tomorrow morning. Maximum sustained winds are near 40 miles per hour, and little change in strength is expected over the next 2 days. Meantime, Bermuda is under a tropical storm warning, with Tropical Storm Jerry forecast to pass near the island within a day or so. At 11 a.m., Tropical Storm Jerry was located about 345 miles southeast of Bermuda and was moving towards the north-northwest at 7 miles per hour. On the forecast track, the center of Jerry is expected to pass near the island by tomorrow night or early Wednesday. Maximum sustained winds are near 65 miles per hour with higher gusts, and gradual weakening is expected during the next few days. At a press conference yesterday, National Security Minister Wayne Kane said the Emergency Measures Organization, EMO, is carefully monitoring the storm's progress, but everything would proceed as normal for today.
essentially Bermuda, Monday will be business as usual. As said previously, the EMO will meet tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We will assess Tropical Storm Jerry, and we will make the necessary decisions about what will happen on Tuesday. And we will update the public.
Meantime, the Bahamas government has announced the creation of a new Ministry of Disaster Preparedness, Management and Reconstruction in the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian, which devastated Abaco and Grand Bahama earlier this month. And Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis named Member of Parliament for Central Grand Bahama, Iram Lewis Jr., as the new Minister of State in the ministry. He will be sworn in later today. Minnis said the ministry will help to focus and coordinate the national response for the recovery and construction of the hurricane-hit islands.
The ministry will prepare comprehensive assessments and proposals to central government of the funding needs for reconstruction and rebuilding by providing documentation of those needs. It will secure the services of planners and architects who will work with local residents to create plans for rebuilding connected to the availability of funds.
Stay with us. Your Midday Sport is next. A look at sports now. Bermuda have been crowned Caribbean champions for the first time in 7 years after beating Guadeloupe 33-10 in the Rugby America's North Championship final at the National Sports Center's North Field over the weekend. Bermuda led 14-0 at the break, but then came under pressure as Guadeloupe reduced the deficit to 4 points with a penalty and a converted try before the home side forged ahead again. Alex Brown, who opened the scoring in the first minute, and Jamie Baum each scored 2 tries for Bermuda, who were also awarded a second-half penalty try. Jan Gwenek opened Guadeloupe's account with a 52nd minute penalty, and Alexandre Dagorn scored a try after stealing the ball on the halfway mark, with Gwenek converting to reduce Bermuda's lead to a slender 4 points. But the pressure was lifted when Bermuda were awarded a 64th minute penalty try. Dan Cole converted 4 of the tries as Bermuda regained the title they lost when they beat Guyana 18-0 in 2012. And veteran Barbadian jockey Patrick Husbands maintained his added money form at Woodbine on Saturday, sweeping both feature races on the 11-race card in front-running style. The 7-time champion first partnered with hot favourite Owlet to win the Canadian $100,000 Victorian Queen Stakes in race 7, and then returned in race 9 with 4-1 choice Jean Elizabeth to capture the $100,000 Sweetbriar Stakes. With the success, the 46-year-old Husbands moved his stakes tally for the season to 15, the most by any rider during the campaign. And that's Caribbean in 10. Join us again this evening at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.